Hello, my name is Alexa Ahooja. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Integrated Studies in Education at McGill. My supervisors are Dr. Susan Ballinger and Dr. Mela Sarkar. I'm also a member of the Plurilingual Lab, a community where a number of emerging and established scholars can exchange and do research around plurilingualism. So I feel very lucky to be able to be conducting plurilingualism research in this context. Je suis un produit du système scolaire québécois. J'ai fréquenté des écoles francophones au niveau primaire et secondaire, ce qui représente une obligation légale ici au Québec pour les élèves issus de l'immigration, tels que moi-même. D'après une définition du ministère de l'Éducation du Québec, les élèves issus de l'immigration sont des élèves immigrants de première génération ou nés d'au moins un parent né à l'extérieur du Canada. And then I pursued my education in English at the CEGEP and university levels. So I think that these educational experiences reflect my own mixed linguistic backgrounds, having grown up with an Indian father who was English speaking, who immigrated from India in the late 1960s, which was a very important period in the history of Quebec, the post-Quiet Revolution period. So it was a time in which the Quebec society affirmed its identity as a francophone society through various policies and bills. Et j'ai aussi grandi avec ma mère québécoise francophone dite de souche sur la rive sud de Montréal. Et donc, je crois que ce sont ces expériences mixtes et hybrides qui m'ont sensibilisée aux enjeux du plurilinguisme, non seulement au niveau de l'individu, mais aussi au niveau sociétal. Et donc, dans un contexte où le Québec est considéré comme une minorité linguistique en Amérique du Nord. And so I became increasingly interested in what it means linguistically to grow up as a migrant background individual. More specifically in terms of the roles and of the current policies in educational settings in sustaining or restricting students' plurilingualism. And I'm even more sensitive to these issues now that I'm the mother of a young toddler whom I'm raising bilingually. For my doctoral research, which was funded by the FRQSC, I conducted an analysis of 25 institutional texts, so policies, white papers, program descriptions, to understand what terms are used to refer or characterize migrant language background students' identities. And so migrant language background students are students who have learned or been in contact with a heritage language growing up, specifically an immigrant heritage language. So I undertook this type of analysis because I believe that how people are labeled reflect specific ideologies, which can impact how people are perceived. So the documentary analysis component of my study also focused on how sociolinguistic integration is conceptualized in institutional texts. In other words, what are migrant language background students and individuals expected to conform to be included socially? So some important and interesting findings include migrant language background students identified through terms that reflect a binary French or non-French speaker identity through the use of the terms allophone, non-francophone. It's also interesting to note that findings do not show that these students were identified or characterized as plurilingual, multilingual, or bilingual. In addition, findings about conceptualizations of their sociolinguistic integration show that although integration is conceptualized as a shared responsibility between the host society and individuals, it is mostly the responsibility of migrant language background students and individuals to demonstrate that they have successfully integrated into the host society through adopting and adapting to majority language and social norms. En parallèle, j'ai mené une étude ethnographique dans une classe d'accueil dans le Grand Montréal. Donc, les classes d'accueil, ce sont des classes dans lesquelles les élèves nouvellement arrivés au Québec apprennent le français de manière intensive avant de graduer dans des classes régulières. Et donc, j'ai examiné les interactions quotidiennes à l'école et à la maison de 2 élèves de niveau secondaire pendant une année scolaire. Puis, une partie des résultats indique que les élèves étaient socialisés à apprendre uniquement le français. De plus, les élèves participants mobilisaient principalement le français à l'école et à la maison, à des fins scolaires, oui, mais aussi à des fins sociales. Puis finalement, ces résultats indiquent que les élèves participants n'ont possiblement pas pu s'investir dans une identité sociolinguistique mixte à l'école. I think that the findings of this study are important and timely in a context where the integration of immigrants is closely tied to their French language learning and use in Quebec. However, as my findings show, this relationship is not so straightforward because it ignores migrant language background students' unique position as and identities as plurilingual individuals and speakers. And so by focusing on French language learning and use as a primary criterion for social inclusion, important conversations around these individuals' social or barriers to social inclusion are disregarded and ignored. So I think that these findings are important to consider also in the context of a rise of anti-immigrant and racist popular discourses in Western countries. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you'd like to contact me, here's my email, and you can also contact me via LinkedIn. Thank you.